everyone, my name is Corey Casale, and today I'm going to be discussing with you how I've applied the book Getting Things Done to my everyday life. The book was written by David Allen. I'm going to be discussing with you the first chapter in part 2, Practicing Stress-Free Productivity, chapter 4, Getting Started, Setting Up the Time, Space, and Tools. So there's 4 steps. The first step is setting aside the time. The second step is setting up the space. Third step is getting the tools you'll need. And the fourth step is to start doing. So setting aside the time. You need to establish a time that you are going to dedicate to organizing your workspace. Organizing your workspace will help create an environment that will eliminate distractions, thus helping you be more productive. Setting up the space. Setting up your workspaces. You can have multiple workspaces. I have a workspace at work that has been very effective in helping me get things done. I've come to the conclusion that I need to set up a workspace at home, not the traditional workspace that I had before, which I'll show you a few pictures of. And then finally, getting the tools you'll need. David Allen, in his book, lists a few tools that you need: paper holding trays, a stack of plain letter-sized paper, a pen or pencil, post-its, paper clips, binder clips, a stapler and staples, scotch tape, rubber bands, file folders, a calendar, waste basket, and recycling bins. And then the one that I don't have, an automatic labeler. I don't have that yet, but I'll typically use my printer in my case. The fourth step was to start doing. So that's exactly what I did. This was my workspace, my original workspace in the dining room. It was kind of messy. There was a lot of stuff. I also shared the space with 3 other people. So our stuff was everywhere. We never had our own workspace to work in. There was a lot of distractions, and it affected the quality and efficiency at which I got my work done. So I went to the back room of the house, which we have a desk that we used to use often, but now it's just a cluttered mess. I took it upon myself to clean this desk, took a lot of it away, cleaned it, and then that shelf right there in the bottom right, that shelf was in the dining room. I took that and moved it in the back room, organized it a bit, organized the desk, and this was the final product. It's a much more well-organized personal workspace. I have all the tools that I ever need, including 2 printers, all my books for my work at school, all my binders, my technology, everything I would ever need is right in this room, and all the tools I also listed off except that automatic file labeler. This is how I've applied the book Getting Things Done to my life. I hope you've enjoyed this presentation. Take care.
So I was very organized as a kid, and just when college started, I really kind of struggled with all the stress, all the things that I had to do, all the things that were in my head that I had to do. So lists alone didn't suffice. So I decided to kind of make more lists, because I don't want to just a list with a bunch of things on it, just make multiple lists with less on it to make it seem like I had less to do. So I basically have a couple lists. I label them like low priority, medium priority, high priority, just to get a sense of how what I should attack first, per se. Like, what the high priority is stuff that I'm probably going to want to handle now because it's probably urgent. The deadline for whatever is probably tomorrow, and I have to get cracking on that. That's like one thing I took out of this book, is just to write things down. I also used to do a lot of lists on my computer, but I'm in my room frequently throughout the day, getting stuff for something else, dropping stuff off at home, coming home to bed. So I thought that since I'm around here a lot, I may as well put notes on my wall so that I could read it regularly, because I'm not always on my MacBook. to take notes on and everything, so I can see it. And I know the science of handwriting, it's better to do that because you retain it more, so versus typing. So that's kind of how I changed this semester for that. And I think it's going to benefit me in the long run.
Okay, so we have to whisper because if we wake up the tiny snoring puppy, he's gonna be really grumpy. Welcome to a day in the life of Emmy and trying to get shit done. Since we started this course, I've been, trying to get up before my 8 a.m. and get some stuff done early in the morning and try that out. It's been working, I'm just tired. After I have all my courses, I go straight to my internship that I really don't like, but I've been using meditation tactics from class and from my personal experience to really try to get through that. So basically, what I take away from my internship right now is that when I walk out of there, I let that shit go, not trying to focus on it, not trying to let it interfere with the other parts of my day. Let's move on to the fun stuff. After my internship, after all my work is essentially done, we head to the gym. Yoga and climbing are one of those things that I have to do constantly in order to keep myself focused. I need to be slightly tired all the time in order to keep my brain a little bit sluggish just to stay on track and stay on task. And one thing that I really took away from all of the readings that we've done and what we've talked about in class is that you really have to figure out what works for you. And apparently, yoga and climbing have to happen at least 4 times in my week for me to get anything done. The number one thing on my afternoon to-do list is always to have a full glass of cold brew coffee from home. It's just something that makes my day better. Alright guys, tonight I am not in the mood to be cooking actual real people food, so I'm having ramen because sometimes you don't have time or energy left in the day to make everything look like this. Listen, everything's not Instagram worthy.
Hi. Emmy.
Long days need good friends. I know this class is about getting things done, but honestly I feel like what I'm learning most is how to handle when things really just can't get done in time. And it's going to be okay.
My name is Jonathan, and I'll be basing my part of the project on my Miami spring vacation. And it's going to be based off the Next Action model, which question forces on clarity, accountability, productivity, and empowerment between a group. So here we go. So first we have clarity. As a group of 4 seniors, we knew we wanted to spend our last spring break vacation going to Miami. That was our big sense of what we had. But the problem was we didn't know what our next action step was. We knew we had to buy the ticket. That was first thing. But we didn't know the cost of food, the cost of the hotel. There was a lot of things to take accountable for, which I'm going to go through next. So second is accountability. I was responsible for my plane ticket and small things like food, drinks, whatever the case is. But as a group, we were all responsible for the hotel. We each divided it by 4 for the whole cost of that days that we stayed in there. So that's basically how we worked as a group together. It was basically the hotel itself. Everyone else was responsible for their own kind of things that they bought out there. So next we have productivity. We used a lot of resources to help plan this event. We used Cheapo Air to pay for the plane ticket. We used Airbnb to rent the hotel, and we used a lot of resources out in Miami. We used Uber and Lyft for our transportation, made our life a lot easier out there. So those were basically our 3 main resources we used to make this trip very successful. Last but not least is empowerment. Not only was this trip fun, but it was also gave me a constructive outlook and how to plan an event or a trip, something in the near future. This was a great experience. It was fun, but it was also, I also learned a lot from it. I also got great resources to help me out in the future, like Airbnb, Cheapo Air. I learned those from my friends, and can't wait to do it in the near future. So thank you.
I've implemented getting things done for the last month and a half. I used to be the kind of person who would think, oh, okay, well, like this month I have X amount of projects due, 3 assignments, 3 papers, and I would get very overwhelmed and I would shut down and wait to do everything at the last minute. Listing things and ranking them by importance is something that I've learned to do really well, especially when I'm at work, because a lot of it's rapid fire, very quickly, ever changing. So I have my handy dandy, oh God, little schedule that I have. I make this every day and it helps me stay focused on what I have to get done instead of worrying about, oh, well, this has to be due 3 weeks from now, 4 days from now. I focus on like today and what I have to do today. And that's really helped cut my stress levels down. So it's like mid to late February. I have yet to start getting things done. I don't know. I thought the way I was running my life was fine because it's how I got to senior year, and I was wrong. So hopefully this book will teach me to get my shit together.
When reading Getting Things Done, I didn't think it would actually help me keep myself organized and help myself in school, but I was wrong. There were 2 main parts of the book that helped me the most, and the first one was the 5 stages of mastering workflow. Whenever I have something to do or work to be done, I know that these 5 stages will help me get my work done, because the first thing I do now is I realize what commands my attention the most, and that's my focus. I then will process why it's my focus and why I need to get it done. I then will organize myself to get ready to get it done. I'll review one more time, and then I'll actually just start doing my work. This is something I don't usually ever do, but these 5 stages have helped me tremendously this semester. These 5 stages have also helped me eliminate my procrastination, where I would say I should do something, I need to do something, or I ought to do something. Now I figure out what's the most important thing to do, and I just get it done. Whether it's taking notes in class on my computer or on paper, everything's now organized to help me in the future. These 5 stages have also helped me in my internship, where at one time I would be overloaded trying to do multiple things at once. I now am able to figure out what's the most important thing to do, focus on it, get it done, and be able to move on to the next task. And this has helped me actually progress in my internship, where my boss even noticed, and now I'm getting more roles within the company. In part 2 of Getting Things Done, there were 2 things I learned that helped me during the semester. One was setting aside time, and the second was setting up a good workspace. Setting aside times for activities and for schoolwork was probably one of the most important things I learned from this book. One, because I was a huge procrastinator and actually never wanted to do any work, and I would have to rush at the last second to get my assignments in. Now, I give myself certain times of the day to do work and certain times of the day to relax, and this allows me to be on top of my work while also not stressing myself out. Last, this book taught me about setting up a good workspace. I never knew how important it was until I actually did it. Personally, I can be a very messy kid, and my desk at home was always filled with trash, with notes, with everything. And finally, I decided to clear it off and clean up my whole room, and it actually made me more focused and a better student. I also did this at my internship. I was the same way. I would always leave my papers out, all over the place, disorganized. But now, at work, I cleared my desk off, I have a file cabinet, and I stay on top of keeping my desk clean. Not only has Getting Things Done helped me in school and in my internship, but it's just helped me overall as a person. I now keep my car cleaner, my room cleaner, and my house cleaner. Without Getting Things Done, I would have probably still procrastinated, been disorganized, and not the employee and student that I am right now.
As you can see, I have better notes written. I also can take better notes now on the computer. And I keep my inbox on my email very clean so I don't get overwhelmed with emails. Before reading Getting Things Done, this house was very disgusting and dirty, but I learned how important it is to keep a well-organized home and a workspace. Having a clean house and a clean place to work in is very important. Me being able to keep my house clean and my workspace clean has made me be more focused on my schoolwork and has helped me become a better student. Without this, it's very hard for me to focus, but having a clean desk made it very simple. Having a clean house and a clean workspace also then helped me have a clean car, which I used for my internship. This was very important because I usually have a messy, disgusting car, but now it's very nice inside. It keeps me motivated to keep it that way. I also use my calendar on my MacBook to help me set aside time to do work and to relax. This helps me stay on top of my work without overloading me and stressing me out.
So one of the issues that I've been having with getting full implementation on this process is, quite honestly, organization, at home specifically. The book says in part 2, one of the key features is getting yourself organized, especially at home, because what you want to do is be able to sit down at home and put everything out there, put everything into your system, make it work. And one of my bigger issues is that this place is a disaster. Always has been. Always will be. And case in point, unfortunately, is this thing. I think it's been about 2 years since I've actually cleaned this properly and sat down it and used it as a proper desk. So next step is a little bit of cleaning. All right. Alright, so now that the desk is at least clean, I can describe what implementing the beginning of this process actually was like. So I had a very good start in that when the book said, well, one, you had to use a calendar, so of course I knew I had to create a calendar. But two, it said you have to have a notebook system. Something where you can put your stuff in and something you can keep organized, keep track of all your projects, where you can just dump everything. Okay, well, I had an internship a couple years ago, and one thing I remember from that internship is the organization system they had. They used this beauty called Evernote. If you've never heard of it, it's basically an online note-taking system. Now, what I've done with it is I've put everything that I have for future projects, basically, into this. Not really much other than, right now I've got a lot going on with my own personal life and, some things with school. So, it's just keep track of whatever I have for projects, and if anything comes up, I can put it in here, not have to worry about it anymore. And the only other thing that I've really gotten a lot better at is actually using the calendar. I mean, it might not seem like much in here. I also just left out anything having to do with school classes and anything with work, because those are the constant and those are the same. But the fact that I'm actually using a calendar of my own accord is actually something fantastic. The only issues I'm having with it was the fact that every 2 or so weeks I've been falling off the wagon and not finishing it. So overall, is it the perfect process? No. Is it actually helping me? Yes. So here's hoping that it continues to be a good influence on my life and helps me actually get a lot of stuff done. So things I didn't expect to be doing for this class include recording stuff in my disgusting room. But for what I'm going to talk about, I guess it's kind of necessary. So, basically, I have a really good start with what I did in the beginning of the semester. However, I had one snag, and it involves this room. So, I'll talk about that, and I guess I'll then talk about what I did right and what I intend to keep doing. Simple, right?
Alright, so today we're talking about the book Getting Things Done and how it has helped me better prepare myself this semester. So what I've used mostly was in Chapter 4, it talks about having a specific space to study. Now, in my past 4 years of college, I have never really had a set place. I'd either go to the library, I'd go to the Ramsden, I'd go to my dorm, I'd go wherever I could think of and find a place to study. Unfortunately, there was a lot of distractions, so after reading Chapter 4, it suggested having your own personal space to go there, have it clean, have it organized, and it's going to help you focus. So to fix that, I got myself a desk, and I can say 100% sitting here, I'm able to focus way better than I have in the past. It also suggests having things on hand. So at my desk, I have pens, pencils for whenever I need to take notes. I have my sticky notes for when I need to write down information. I just stick it anywhere in binders, notebooks, on the table. I have index cards for when I need to study. I also have my engagement planner and calendar. This has been the biggest help this semester because I used to be really bad with remembering assignments. Now by having this planner, I am able to write things down, whether it be an exam, a homework, a meeting with a professor, a meeting with an advisor. I'm able to take it, remember. I have missed practically no assignments now for having it. I'm able to study way ahead of time for exams. And I also have 3-hole punch to put notes and any handouts in binders. And I keep my notebooks right on the desk. This is easy. Come home, take it out of my backpack, put it right down on the desk. I don't lose it. I can have it to study. And then one of the last things that it suggests is having a printer. So use the printer for right here for whenever I need to print out assignments. It's right on hand. Print it out, grab it, staple it, put it right in the backpack. I can't be thankful enough of how getting things done has helped me this semester get way more organized than I have ever been in my college career.